Hello students, I am going to start my audio class. This is for 4th semester major students. The paper is 4.1, the rule of the Mughals in India, and the topic is Society of India during the Mughal rule. Before starting the topic, I am going to say about who were the Mughals and their origin. The Mughals originated in Central Asia and were descended from the Mongol ruler Genghis Khan and Timur or Tamerlane, the great conqueror of Asia. The name Mughal or Mughal is a corruption of the Persian word of Mughal, the Central Asian tribe, after whom Mongolia is named. The first Mughal ruler of India was Babur. He established his rule in India in 1526 after the success of the first battle of Panipat, where he defeated Ibrahim Lodi, the last ruler of the Turco-Afghan rule of Delhi. Babur was succeeded by a series of great rulers like Humayun, Akbar, Jahangir, Shah Jahan and Aurangzeb. Among all those rulers, Akbar can be regarded as the greatest one. Now, let's start the topic, Society of India during the Mughal period. To discuss these points, discuss this topic, I am going to discuss some points like the Muslim society, the Hindu society, the feudal basis of the Mughal society, then aristocracy, major religious groups, the mercantile professional classes, the educational system, occupation, status of women, slavery and drinking habits. Now, firstly, the Muslim society, it can be said as the Mughal society also. The Muslim society was like a pyramid on the top of which was the emperor and the nobility, followed by the middle class, whom was very minute population. And the last and the most heavily concentrated was the poor class. The middle class consisted of the professionals and the traders and merchants. Next is the Hindu society. In the Mughal period, the Hindus formed the first majority of the country's population. The upper classes consist of the Brahmins, Rajputs, Kayasthas and Vaishyas, and they did not marry among themselves. Next point, the feudal basis of the Mughal society. The medieval India was organized on a feudal basis. The emperor was the absolute ruler, was the head of the social system. He claimed divine status and power, and he also asserted the absolute power. Next, members of the royal family, together with the royal blood, friends and favorites of the king, enjoyed privileged position in the society. Then the nobility of the feudal basis. The Mughal nobility or the ruling elite, styled as Umara, Umara, who belong to the first category of the Mansabdari system and feudatory chieftains who owned allegiance to the Mughal crown, comprised of the aristocracy of the land. The Mansabdari system, it was established by Akbar and it was a civil and military system, half civil and half military. Every talented youth aspired to join in the Mansabdari system. Next point, the aristocracy. The aristocracy was composed of the Muslims and the Hindus. Although the members of the Hindus were small because of the delayed entry into the fold and the slow progress of Indianization. Next, the major religious groups. Although several other religious communities, such as Parsis in Gujarat and Bombay, Christian in West Coast, especially in Cochin and Travancore, the subcontinent was populated by Hindus and Muslims who worked together in Mughal court and offices. Religion permeated in every aspect of medieval Indian society, reflected in the construction of the mosque, temples, and other places of worships. Then the next point, mercantile professional classes. Nevertheless, trade and traders continued to have low social status. The influence of merchants on political quarters also found. Instances of strikes by the traders were also there. Prominent member of the Mughal royal family, Mir Jumla, involved in trade. There were some richest merchants, particularly in the port towns. Firji Bohra, Firji dominated the Surat trade for several decades. He owned a large fleet of ships and reputed amongst the wealthiest Indians. Abul Ghafur Bohra, Abulghafur left 55 lakhs of rupees in cash and goods and 17 ships going ship in the time of his death in 1718. There were many wealthiest merchants in Delhi, Agra and Balasore. The Gujarat merchants includes the Hindus, Jains and Muslims who were mostly Bohras, Bohras. In Rajasthan, Oswal, Maheshwari and Agarwals belong to be called Marwaris. The Marwaris spread to Maharashtra and Bengal during 18th century. The Chettis of Coromandel coast and the Muslim merchant of Malabar were India's inter-regional trader. Then, educational system. There were no government-aided schools. Schools were run by the medieval teachers and scholars where government provided land grants. Hindus imparted education through pathshalas. Hindus learned Persians to get service in government departments. Muktab or primary schools were attached to mosques where reading Quran was taught. Madrasas and colleges provide higher education. Theology, medicine, calligraphy, logic, accounts, geometry, mathematics, astronomy, economics, agriculture, physics, history and philosophy were taught there. Badaun, Murshidabad, Hyderabad, Lahore, Delhi, Agra, Ahmedabad, Sirhind, Thanesar were the big centers of learning. Shah Jahan founded the Imperial College known as Darul Baqu, Darulbaqu at Delhi in 1650. Hamilton, who visited India during Aurangzeb's reign, said that at Thatta alone had 4 colleges. Now come to the next point, occupations. Trade was the main occupation. Hindus, Armenians, Persians controlled the business on coast of India and had trade link with Persia, Arabia and Southeast Asia. Fora, Fora, A Gujarati trader not only controlled the business of Surat and southern coast but also Persian Gulf. Muslims had working as teachers, artists, painters, calligraphers, doctors, surgeons, etc. Maulana Muhammad was appointed as a director of Madrasa of Sialkot, who attracted scholars from other countries in the reign of Shah Jahan. Next come to one important point, that is the status of women. Although Muslim women they followed Parda, still during the Mughal period, some ladies they were influenced the Mughal royal family or the Mughal court also. They were Asiana Daulat Begum, the maternal grandmother of Babur, then Maham Anaga, Maham Nahm Anaga, the chief nurse of Akbar, Mansukh Begum, one widow of Humayun and stepmother of Akbar, and specially Nur Jahan, wife of Jahangir, who was highly educated, very beautiful, exquisite aesthetic sense, intelligent and fond of poetry, music and painting. And she also wrote verses in Persian. Now come to the system. Some aspects are here on the status of women. Firstly, it's the polygamy. Polygamy was prevalent among both Hindus and Muslims, especially belonging to rich families. Akbar, though polygamous himself, opposed polygamy. It is written by Abul Fajal. Polygamy was permitted in Islam, having four wives on the condition of strict equal treatment among them. Generally, Muslim preached monogamy partly due to religious injunctions and economic reasons. Wealthy Muslims kept more than one wife. The age of the marriage was not fixed, but to avoid child marriage, Akbar ordered that no boy under the age of 16 and the girls under 14 should be married. Then, Parda. Muslim women observed Parda. Muslim girls start observing Parda when they attain puberty. The women of higher Hindu caste also followed the customs. Same was by the poor Muslim women. Then the next point, it is Sati and Johar. The act of burning of Hindu wife after the death of her husband, called Sati, specially prevailed among the Rajputs. Emperor Humayun was the first to fight for the prohibition of Sati. Manusi said Akbar, Jahangir, Aurangzeb all attempted to prohibit Sati, but it continued, and ultimately it was during the modern period the Sati was abolished. It was by Lord William Bentinck, but during medieval period it was continued. And then Jauhar, after any defeat on the death of their husband in the battle among the Rajputs, there were mass sacrifice of the life of the women to assess that was known as Jauhar. That custom continued during the Mughal period. Then the next point is prostitution. Prostitution was also prevalent custom Alauddin Khilji, during the Turco-Afghan rule, was first who opposed the public prostitution. Akbar also made enquiry for punishing the people involved there. Aurangzeb was also tried but could not. Next point is slavery. Slavery had been an important phenomenon during ancient and medieval period. It was a recognized institution. In 16th and 17th century, slavery was mainly for domestic activities, but some slaves they were rose to the offices in the Mughal court, and that is known from Aini Akbari and Tujuki-i Jahangiri. It is said that Humayun and Akbar were promoted some slaves to some official department. Akbar inherited a large number of slaves, most of which were liberated by him in 1582. Then come to the last point. It is the drinking habits. The Muslims are ordered in Quran to refrain from drinking and gambling. But unfortunately, every Mughal king except Aurangzeb indulged in drinking. The princes, nobility, even the religious classes, muftis, mir adis, with some exception, took wine publicly. Wine was easy obtainable in public bar at government rate. During Akbar's reign, the richer class was addicted to that. It was served as the daily meal. So, these are some points of the society of the Mughal period. It is a very broad topic, but I try to summarize this topic by covering this point. I think you get an idea. You'll get an idea by this topic, and I think I should conclude here. That's all. Thank you.